Hi guys, it's Vivi Home Writes, and today's video I'm going to be doing a tour of Campfire, so stay tuned. Hi everybody, it's Vivi Home Writes. Welcome back to my channel. I am kind of excited for today's video. I know it's posting a little late, but I'm really excited. We're going to be giving a try to the new, We're going to be giving a try to the software. It's called Campfire. It's a plotting and planning software for your novel. Generally speaking, it's not, I don't think, geared towards like shorter works of fiction, like short stories or any kind of like picture book style or even maybe middle grade, but the example I'm going to be using today is my middle grade project. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to be sharing my computer screen with you today, and we will be working on that. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and stay tuned.
Okay, so here we are. This is where if you want to start a new story, you're going to click New Story or Open Story if you have a story saved. There's the button for when you purchase. You can register your license and get the Pro feature unlocked. So we're going to click on New Story. We're going to type in our title. This says up here about putting in your title, your story description, all of that. I'm going to go ahead and put Many Adventures of Teensy and Squeaker in the title. That is my working title. It is a middle grade action or middle grade adventure novel, and I'm going to put in my pen name, Van Lawrence. So I have in here, I think I have I have the one sentence pitch in my notes, so I'm going to go ahead and add that in. And I'm just going to kind of zip over this really quick because I was having some problems with copy paste. So we're going to go ahead and fill that out. Ugh, I had to do it again. It was just not working, so I started typing it in because this is ridiculous. I don't know why my copy paste wasn't working at the moment. Anyway, so Teensy is a tiny mouse with a big adventure, something like that. And that was what I was putting in for the one sentence pitch or the tagline, just a kind of quick little teaser. So then this is where the synopsis would go. I didn't write the full synopsis in here, just a little snippet in this section, and just to give you a taste of what it is you're working on. And then there's the notes panel, which comes up later as well for you to add more notes as you go through the project. So I'm just typing it in, get that out of the way. We're going to click create, and then I like to use initials for my story titles because sometimes they're long. So this is the screen that comes up, and I think I was going to move the icon over to my icon list because I like them all to be on one side. So in here, you're going to go to, these are your utility panels, and you can search in the story panel. So basically, when you're filling out each of the tabs, you're going to have all this information that's going to build up in this project, and you're going to be able to search the tabs that way. So this is the story preferences area. There's things you can change here. You can make it a 2-column panel. You can make some different themes. So there's fantasy and sci-fi. This background space changes as you change the theme. These are preloaded themes. There are more themes that you could put in. You could actually upload your own, customize your colors. It's really neat. I like the spacey one though. That's the default for novel. So I like to leave that there. So there's just a bunch of different settings you can set up there. So we're going to go into the that's the file edit. We're going to go into the characters section. This is the main part where I start because I feel like a lot of stories are based on the characters you're building. So there's different parts to it. And eventually you can export it to PDF, and there's all these different tabs that will come out as we go. So that's the world building pack, which I really, really recommend. It looks really neat. It can help you build on your religions and your magic system. We're going to start with the character though. So we click on the character, and this is the screen you get. There's different little things you can add. So we're going to make a group. I'm going to label this, I believe, main character group. And then you know what? No. I think I put, yeah, so basically I'm just adding in where the main characters sit in the story, and then I'm going to add under those files the characters themselves. So there's the main character, and then there's going to be the second main character and the third main character is what I'm going to use for my examples. So we've got Teensy, and then we've got Squeaker. Those are the two main mice that go on the adventure. And so we're going to open up to the Teensy panel, and it's got all this information. So let's say we're going to put she's going on a big adventure here in the main description of who she is and what she's doing. Then you've got all these features where you fill out the name, the age, the size, all that stuff. Stats, personal traits. You can move the panels around, which is really cool. And I'm not great at repositioning them. That's why in the upper corner there's the 3 dots. You can also change the layout. So I really like that. There's also a place to do photos. So hold on one sec. So there's photos. You can change out the panel and make it a photos panel. So if you have a picture of your character, you put it in there, and when you're looking, you see the stats, you see the character, you see the relationships, different stats about like age and height and weight and all that stuff, which is really cool. It's all like kind of like right at a glance. I like that. So down there's the backstory and personality. Up here in the bar, when you're filling these things out, it'll track. So when you go to, let's see, when you go to character traits, or character arc, as you're filling in info, it'll fill into the character arc the different timeline stories, pieces, and stuff. So there's a way to change the layout. You can add a new panel. And so when you add the new panel, you can also save this as the template for your main character versus your minor characters or your villain. So this 3-dot panel is where you do that. You can set it up to load a template or save the template you have. So I think I use the save template that I wrote up for Ellyron in there. So that's the main character save template, and I have it set up this way. Where I changed it up, I'm going to add Squeaker in, where I changed it up, and I use the main character template, and there it is. It's got like different stats, and oh, I have an extra panel. Get out of here, extra panel. Okay, so there's a little corner for photos, and there's a little corner for notes, and then I have the backstory and the main traits. Boy, my mouse is flying all over the place. I'll remember not to do that next time, guys. So this is where I'm putting in the relationship between Teensy and Squeaker. They're cousin mice from the same tribe, so that's where I'm going to add that in. And so when we do that, then we'll see them in the family tree section. So first we have to add that to Teensy, load her template up, get rid of those extra windows that I, for some reason, cannot figure out why I have those there. So now we're going to add her relationship to Squeaker, change that, cousin mouse in the same tribe, and then we're going to go into the relationships tab. So in the relationships tab, this is where you can make your family trees, you can make your relationship connections, you can show who's friends, who's in a relationship with each other, who's relatives, who is mad at each other, all sorts of neat features there. And so you click the character, you set the character, you click the other character, you set the other character, I don't remember where I put this. Then there's a connector. So these connectors you can color code to make them mean something. So, and you can move them across the board. So eventually when they are moved in different parts of the story, you can move that to reflect that. So when I go, I got out of there for a second. Whoops. Sorry. Okay. So when I change that color, oh, this is my main character web. So I'm going to set this up to do, I'm going to also add, I'm going to add the third main character, which is the cat that they go on the adventure with. And so he's going to go in this next panel as a main character from the Rose Garden Cottage, because that's where he comes from. So now he can be associated with that setting. When I make that setting in the settings panel, that's where that's going to go. So, or for the map. So now let's put him in there. His relationship to the mice. So we're going to fill that part in. 1 and 2. And then we're going to go back over to the web so we can see the main character's relationships to each other. So now he shows up and we put him here and we say that these are how you color code their relationships. So we're going to pick on a color that we want to represent a certain type of relationship. And you can also make it a dotted line or solid line or dashed line. So let's say teal is for, I think they're BFFs. And then I have related, I think, cousins. And then I have, oh wait, no, yeah, so they're cousins, they're BFFs, and then she and he have a rough time getting along, and so I'm gonna make that, I think, like trouble or challenge. They're each other's challenges, basically. And then so she also has a rough time getting along with her cousin, so I'm gonna make that connection there because she kind of has to drag both of them along and kind of struggles with that. So that's kind of my main character web, and I can flesh it out even more as I go. We're going to go over to the timeline now, and we're going to build in, I can show you some examples of, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of clips on how the timeline works, and then I'm going to, let me see, this is like the new divider, so you can divide vertically or horizontally. I think, I don't remember how, there you go. Horizontally or vertically, so you can like break up by acts and stuff like that. So I'm going to go out and show you in Ellyron where I actually built the timeline for that story. So we're going to click over to my Ellyron Campfire, and I'm going to show you that timeline because it's already built. I already put it into the color code and the acts and all that, and it will be a lot easier to see. So we're going to click in here, we're going to open it up, and here we are. So there's Act 1, Act 2.1, 2.2, and Act 3 because it's a really, really big story. It's huge. And so also there's different timelines within the Ellyron story, so I can make that reflect there, and I can actually color code each of the events. So that's like the trigger event and the climax, and I have a prologue color. So you're able to color code your timeline too to show, and there's extra places to put information. So when I click on, let me see, if you export it to PDF, there's going to be tons of little file tabs, so it's like a lot of information. So if you click on there, there's a whole bunch of extra information. So that is what a full timeline piece looks like. It's actually really neat, and there's a lot of features in there. So we're going to go back over to Teensy and Squeaker, click and open, and oh my gosh, let's see. Okay, so now we are going to go into the character arc. So I'm going to just show you what the character arc tab looks like. So when you fill out your characters, you'll get these arc pages. So there they are. And then as you start filling out their timeline and their character backstory and stuff, things are going to start filling out in here. So there's ways to add in the details there, and it'll all reflect what you're filling out in the other tabs. So that's, I try to click on here to see what the other views were. That's where you add your notes. That's the search. So here's for the map. We're going to work on the map next. So this is my Pinterest board where I have saved my location for the story that I used as a reference. This was the area we used to live. We lived right next to a nature reserve, and that was what I wrote the story about. So I saved my image, and eventually I'm going to actually illustrate this map, and with this picture as a reference. But for now, I'm just going to import the picture, and there's the map, and you can make it bigger. Let's change it to, I think, 10 and then 5. I think I changed it to 5. That's too big. It's too blown up. Okay, so you can see some of the detail. You can scroll in and out and see some of the detail on there, and then you're able to click locations, and you're able to add important events or important things to the different locations on the area. So like between these two, this river and this mountain, there's going to be a location, and that's the Rose Garden Cottage is going to go there. And then when you click on that, you can add in information. Oops, click. You can add in information. And so you can add the pictures, you can add the references, the characters, what different things are related to that. You can color code it. I think I color code it. Oh no, you can make it transparent so you can see underneath it. You can color code it. My view was kind of shrunk down for a minute. You can color code it based on what you want happening there. So, and then you can also associate it. It's a home, it's a location, it's a landmark, it's a country, all that stuff. So you can use that for all the different themes that you could be writing in. So I kind of shrink it down, I get it into the location, and then that is where the Rose Garden Cottage is set to take place. because the story is on this side of that Cowles Mountain area. So that is the map. So you fill that out, you can put in all the different locations to your story, and you can see kind of mapping out where people are in relation to each other, where landmarks are in relation to each other, and it kind of helps you kind of see where you're missing parts or where your things are missing. So then there's the encyclopedia section where you can fill out things that you're using in your story, names, like references that you would need for an encyclopedia. Like say if you have a reader who's eventually going to want to understand what a certain item is or a certain word means or something, that you would create the entries there. Then there's a world building packs. There's a magic system and a religion system. The magic system is really neat because you click on add the magic system and it comes up with this panel that shows the name of the magic system, the uses, all these different elements that will help you flesh out how your magic is used. Then there's a guidebook that you can fill out, and then a history about how it became what it became. So there's other different elements to it. The world building pack, it has just a lot more modes to like flesh out your story as a whole. So I really liked the way it works. So over on the website, I wanted to show you, it's right now the free trial is for 10 days for $0, $49 for the Pro, $64 for the world building pack. But if you use the nano code from NaNoWriMo, you can get, I think it was 15% off or something like that. I don't remember, but it's a percentage off that 64. So, and they've got a lot of cool references and guides on how to use their program. Make sure your computer meets the software. So we're going to go and I'm going to show you Ellyron's map because like I said, I illustrated that myself and so it's a lot more built out. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. I forgot to do it when I was showing the timeline because Ellyron is way more fleshed out than this one. So we're going to go into the map and we're going to go right in, and there is the map of Ellyron. I've got some of the important lands covered so you can't see them. That's those kind of translucent areas are where most of the story takes place. So that is a quick rundown of Campfire. It is really worthwhile to give it a try for that free trial, that 10-day trial. And let me know what you guys think. If you use this program or if you like it, let me know what you think. All right, guys.
So that's it. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I actually am excited to continue using this to plot not only my middle grade book, to work on my big YA high fantasy project, the Ellyron series. I actually have it already plugged in, as you saw. I have a project sitting there. I have The Witches of Walnut Creek sitting there, and I'm excited to see what I can get finished with the added, since as you know, I've always kind of had a little bit of a difficulty plotting things out. I tend to run into plot holes and then go back and try and figure them out after I've already written stuff, and that never helps anybody. So I'm hoping that this will help me with the planning ahead of time so that I'm not backtracking so much. So I hope you liked today's video. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope the quarantine is going okay and you guys are staying safe and staying strong. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye!